Good afternoon slash evening, everybody. How's it going? It is draft time. That's right. Going to draft some fantasy baseball, but just to let you know, it's not quite March, so we're going to stick to best ball for now. We're getting into some drafts real soon, some other drafts. But look, best ball is becoming more popular for football. I think it really should become more popular for baseball because that's one of the things that you really, really need to do if you want to have any shot at winning in baseball is keep up with your weekly lineups, be active and keep with it. If you just want to draft, just do best ball and set it and forget it. And you can get a lot of different lineups in there because you can go to Underdog and do some of these. So let me show you what is up before I start. MLB, just go to the drafts lobby. MLB, the dinger is where I've been doing it already. You got the eliminators, which I really like. It's tournament style as it sounds. You will be competing for a chance to make the final tournament, but some will be eliminated as you go. And then you got the frozen rope if you want a little bit higher stakes. The solo shot for 75. They had some more too. I bet they're going to have some more as well. They had the bunt, and there's like a $3 one and a $5 one. Let's just get in the dinger. It's $10, easy to enter, and I'll break down the rules as we go. If y'all want to join in and draft with me right here, right now, let's do it. All right. So I'm going to get on right now. Enter, confirm, see how much we got to go. It's almost full. Only 2 left. Okay, so anybody's in there? Anthony, I know you're out there somewhere. What is up? Angelo, welcome. How's it going? Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned this. You're saying it's cold outside. While we were waiting for the draft to start, I want to take this moment to complain to no one in particular about how freaking cold it is outside. It's South Texas, and it should not be 20 degrees. It should just not. It's an abomination of nature. I don't like it. All right. I don't know if I really love the 11th pick, but good enough. It's fine. Baseball, very different from football. One player isn't necessarily going to make or break your whole draft. So I got some time to think here too. I got the 11th pick. Anybody else getting here? Yes, Anthony got the 3. I see you there. Very nice. All right, let me go ahead and switch it to the draft board. Just make it a little easier to follow here. And that way he doesn't know who I'm picking in my queue. So we're pretty far apart. I don't have to worry about getting sniped here. All right. Yeah, 11th is okay. It's okay. And again, I don't have a particular spot. Look, I'll talk about this. Let me switch this up here. Hold on a second. Before I wait too long. All right, here's the draft board. Real quick for those watching this back, maybe not live or just not familiar, you don't know about the Underdog drafts, how they work. Quick recap, done a few of these already, but just so you know, this is going to be, as you can see, the full draft board, 20 rounds. It's a 12-teamer. This is best ball, so no lineups, no trades, no waivers, no nothing. You draft and that's it, and it will set your best lineup. So you're looking for upside and ceiling weekly spikes. But also, since you can't trade, draft, pick up, or waiver wire, nothing like that, you have to draft players who will help you pretty much all season long. Now, they don't all need to help you all season, but you don't want to take too much risk on at any one position. All right, so that's what I'm going to say. If you want to know the details, I'll let you just break into that. Just get on Underdog, of course, and try it out. So, yeah, Julio. What about Julio? I'm not anti Julio. I'm not taking him in the first round like last year. I don't know. Some people will, but I'll still take him in round 2 if he falls. All right, now what I want to talk more about rather than the rules, because you can look up the rules yourself as far as roster construction, is look, you have outfield, infield, pitcher. That's it. So you don't have to worry about roster construction from a full team standpoint. It's those 3 categories. Outfield is where you want to prioritize early. I've said that many times. I'm not taking Julio. I'm just gonna go. I'm gonna go with Tatis. I know there's risk with him health wise, but I get an elite outfielder. Usually these drafts, and the last one I did, we saw the very first 9 picks were all outfielders. I've seen that, and then usually you'll get like 2, maybe 3 infielders in the first round. We had 2 in the first 5 picks. We've had 4 in the first 10, and now 5 in the first round. It's a little infield heavy. I'm not saying it's wrong, but it's just uh, outfielders have been really, really going earlier than usual. Okay, I got Julio staring at me here. This it's best ball, but Schwarber just as good. Well, the nice thing was Schwarb's here in this format. You don't have to care that he's clogging up your DH spot because there's no DH spot. He counts as an outfielder. So again, this is the big thing. Now it'll be a while till it gets back to me. You don't have to. I hate to say you have to do anything, but you should probably, in most cases, attack outfield early as possible. At least one outfielder in the first 2 rounds, at least one, if not 2. And like, I'm not taking pitching early in general. And that video where I talk about things not to do is coming out tomorrow. In a redraft league, I'm not taking pitcher early. In this format, I'm not even thinking about a pitcher for 3 rounds. Just no need. There's no need. There's no advantage to it, really. All right. By the way, all right. Ignore these comments. Lindor over Henderson. It's pretty close between those two. Lindor and Henderson are both going to produce pretty similarly. So I don't know if there's a huge difference. You could argue that Gunnar has a little higher of a ceiling this year, but with Soto there and now Pete Alonso back in the Mets, I mean, you gotta love Lindor. Let's see. Yeah, I do. Let me put this up. Contract year Vlad. Just heard something about that. He's going to hit free agency. Basically, this is the bottom line. And he probably won't stay in Toronto. Now he's going to be motivated. Had a great year. I think there's still another gear there somewhere with a power. Doesn't there have to be more power in that bat from what we saw rookie year? So the home run total is going to go up. I mean, they could. I think the big issue, if there is an issue with Vlad, is the Blue Jay offense going to be any better than last year? Because kind of everybody around him kind of fell apart. Bo Bichette, who knows what's going on there? George Springer looked like he's actually getting older. It's not a great offense at this point. They really didn't do a whole lot in the offseason to add anything to the offense. So that's the only thing. If I had to find something to nitpick with Vlad, it's just that team context. He's not in a great offense, but yeah, I'm still pretty in on Vlad firmly in the early part of the second round. Doesn't matter what position he's going to play, by the way, because some people are asking. In this format, he's an infielder. That's it. End of story. Infielder. Okay. Almost my turn. I got more comments here. I want to address all that. They did add Santander. I just saw Anthony Santander got taken. Yeah, sure. Santander, that's something to the offense. That's a little bit of thump, but with some of the pieces they've lost the last couple of years, I don't know that really makes up for it. So I got 2 outfielders right now. I got Tatis and Schwarbs. I don't mind going another one, but really Ian Happ over those 2 stud infielders, no. So I'm going to go with Pete because I don't know, maybe it's an overreaction, but Devers doesn't sound too happy about Bregman being there. But also they're talking about his shoulders, working his way back. I don't know. I'm not moving Devers down my rankings just yet, but I'm keeping an eye on it. I'll say that. So between him and Alonso, I think I'll just give the tiebreaker to Alonso because I don't have any worries about him anymore now that we know where he's going to be. Okay, there goes Devers. So now I still don't love these outfielders. I loved Riley Green when I could get him at pick 70, which was a couple weeks ago, but no more. So I could go Wheeler, but that's too early for a pitcher here. He's not giving me a huge advantage over any other pitcher I can get on the way back. He just isn't in this format, especially. So I'm just going to go Trey Turner. I'll just take I'll take the table setters for the Phillies, which I did see today, by the way. They are thinking about moving Trey Turner up possibly to lead off, which he's almost always been the number 2 guy there. So that'll be interesting. Maybe he'll run a little bit more. I don't know that there can really be a big boost to his stats as long as he's healthy. I don't know if it probably doesn't matter too much, but just something interesting. It does matter 1 to 2, not so much, but if a guy, let's say he was batting 3rd or 4th or anywhere else, moving up to the leadoff spot, you have to realize that over time, if it sticks, this leads to more plate appearances, which just means more counting stats, period. Total. At bat totals and plate appearances, it does matter, in a roto league and a points league too. So it's just something to consider. It's not going to be a huge advantage for Trey Turner specifically, but it is just worth pointing out. Yeah, so Tim. What's up, Tim? How is best ball driven? Okay, so I talked about this real quick at the beginning, but if you just jumped on, best ball is the computer picking your best lineup every week. You don't set a starting lineup. You don't set anything after the draft. You draft and you're done. Now, some people think that's boring because then you don't have that managerial style decision making. You playing matchups and streamers and all that. So if you like that, then yeah, play regular fantasy baseball, which of course you are anyways. But you can also do a best ball draft because then you have another team, you have more skin in the game, and you don't have to do anything. You've got that team and you can just watch what happens. Now, honestly, with best ball, I don't really check in on it until after the season because it really just agonizes me more than anything because I can't do anything about it. But I just love drafting. Look, right now, from here until opening day, I'm just going to draft as much as possible. And even though it's different, it still kind of helps me, right? Get a little bit practice in for my regular drafts. So you're doing this on Underdog, it gives you a chance to win money for drafting a fantasy baseball team. So, it's a win-win because I had fun drafting and hey, I might actually win money doing it. I honestly don't even care too much about winning. I just love to draft. So, but I know I have a chance to actually do something with it. And I usually wind up at least breaking even, if not winning. So, I mean, I'm not losing anything. So best ball, that's it. You draft a team that you think has a chance to put up big point totals consistently. So you do want the spike weeks. Like I said, you want guys with high ceilings. But at the same time, you can't completely just go, to the wall and just go for the riskiest players. Because if they don't wind up doing anything or they get hurt, then you get nothing and you lose. So, all right. So I got 2 and 2 infield, outfield. Right now, you guys can't see the queue, but there are even like the first 8 players in terms of ADP, none of them are pitchers. I am going to take Cody Bellinger because as risky as he is, we know what the ceiling is with him. And again, he doesn't have to be good all season long. If he has some hot weeks, hopefully months, some streaks where he's hitting home runs, he's scoring, he's going to drive in runs at the very least. He's going to get me points. And so I'll take that kind of volatile profile here. And I like his potential with the Yankees. So I got 3 outfielders. I could go another outfielder. Best choices here are Brenton Doyle, who I do like, but his ADP is getting a little high. I mean, he's 60 right now. Yelich, I don't trust his back. Castellanos has had his best days behind him. Luis Robert Jr., who knows? I'll probably just go with another kind of volatile profile. I could take boring Marcus Semien, but instead I'm going to go with O'Neal Cruz. So again, I mean, this is my 3rd infielder. Again, O'Neal Cruz feels pretty good. I already got Alonso and Turner. And then outfield, my outfield is definitely risky. Schwarber, not so much, but Tatis and Bellinger. So that's okay because I'm going to make up for it later when I take more outfielders who can compensate for them. Not that I'm going to play it safe, but you know what I mean. I'm going to get guys who just aren't quite as volatile. And at some point, I'll take a pitcher, maybe. Well, pitchers, what I've noticed now since the last dinger I did, which is not counting the slow drafts I am constantly doing, but the last live one I did, pitchers have been pushed down big time in ADP. I mean, there's still some aces on the board, and we're already at basically around 7. So I feel even better about waiting for a pitcher here. Anthony's doing the same. He's got 2 infielders, got 3 outfielders. He's up next. Will he take a pitcher here? Let's see. Oh, you didn't get Jason Dominguez, which that's my guy. That's my flag plant guy. All right, Michael King. I like that pick. Definitely a good one. And then here goes Blake Snell. So now Aaron Nola. Now we're seeing some pitchers go off the board, but it'll be probably a little while before. Look, just wait. I already know who I'm going to get this next round when it comes back to me. If I'll be perfectly happy with who I'm going to get at pitcher. Thank you. I think the Alonso pick was pretty good too. Surprised Alonso's ADP hasn't gone back up since he signed, but I guess it's a little too soon. This can't be right. I must have missed it. There's no way somebody took Chris Bryant in the 5th round. You're kidding, right? Did I miss that? No. No. Okay. So despite having an ADP of 239, basically being undrafted in most leagues, somebody took Chris Bryant in the 5th round. Wow. Okay. I hope that doesn't just by itself nullify this draft. Man. Chris Bryant. You can't accidentally do that when a guy's 239. You have to scroll really far down in order to find that. So I assume that wasn't you, Chicago, right? Being a Cub, maybe you're a Cubs fan. I don't know. I know Cubs fans are very loyal, but come on. Okay, let's move down here. Almost my turn again. I have to scroll back to get where I was. Castellanos is it's fine. Okay, so here you go. In this format, especially, you accumulate points, and I'll break down the scoring here. George Kirby. Maybe it is Chris Bryant. Maybe he's in here donating his $10 to try to drive up his own ADP. Maybe that's what's going on. Hey, look, for his sake, I hope he actually stays healthy and does something. I mean, sure, that would be nice, but I'm not drafting him. Okay, so I got George Kirby, and somebody got 5 seconds left here. Who knows what this player's going to do? Somebody mentioned Dylan Cruz. Be a nice pick. I mean, he's staring at me right now. There's a couple of decent pitchers. Logan Webb, boring, but will accumulate points just through volume. Yamamoto, I do like Yamamoto. Do I just take Dylan Cruz and stack outfielders? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Because outfield, you'll see, will get a lot thinner, a lot sooner than pitcher. There's a lot of pitchers that I know I can grab and feel good about their chances later on. All right, Dylan Cruz it is. I'm big on Cruz, which, by the way, was prepping today. Gonna talk about the top prospects for redraft pretty soon, Just debating on if I have Cruz number 2 or number 3. Yeah, I saw actually speaking of Cruz, because I saw this today, they're predicting he's going to hit second. Because they'll have Abrams at the top, Wood will be third, Cruz can be second in between them, which is pretty nice. So one thing that is a pleasant surprise with Cruz, this helps probably a little bit more in your Roto League than it would in this format, but he stole more bases than I expected last year. But I think that's partly just because Washington just runs so much. I mean, they led the majors in stolen base attempts. That's not going to change, I don't think. So, I mean, with those 3 guys at the top, they're all going to be running crazy. So I like Cruz is going to give you definitely some steals to offset, maybe not ready to give you a lot of power. And that's my only concern. Is Dylan Cruz really ready to go for, let's say, 20 home runs? Some people think he isn't. Think he's projected for like 14, which would be a little disappointing if he plays a full season. You know, if he steals more bases than that, I mean, if he gets to 25 to 30 steals, which is possible, I guess that makes it feel a little bit better. But he would definitely need to hit for a good average too. So. Yeah, let's I got a little time for my pick here. Talk pitchers. Bobby Miller, yeah, apparently uh tried to pitch today, if you want to call it that. Man, talk about a guy. You remember when he was being drafted like the top 75 last year? Those were fun times. That's another reason to maybe not draft young pitchers too early. I'm a little worried about that whole Dodger staff, and I'll just say that again. I know I've talked about it a couple times, but the injuries, basically injury risk for every single one of them, um, and maybe not so much Blake Snell these days, but everybody else. And then when they get to a 6-man rotation, and then when they preserve them for the playoffs, just you're just not going to get as much in terms of the counting stats. So I don't know. I'm not going to draft nearly as many Dodgers pitchers as other people are. Okay, almost up again. I got 4 outfielders. I like my upside there. I got 3 very good infielders, and I have 1 pitcher. I am going to attack pitcher here now. I'm hoping that Imanaga doesn't get taken right here because I'll take him. And he didn't. All right, Imanaga it is. So being that I'm almost on the turn, I'm not gonna look too hard at ADP. Between Zach Gallen and Hunter Brown. Oh, okay. I'll never forget that. I like Hunter Brown better, but apparently I'm not getting him. So I'm gonna actually skip over Zach Gallen. This guy went down a little bit, got Max Fried. I'm gonna do what I said and not take Tyler Glass now. I really like Grayson Rodriguez, but I feel like I've taken him too much because I take him all the time. So only because of that, I'll go Bailey Ober. Other consideration at that spot, maybe a bounce back from Kevin Gausman, but then I'm taking the risk that he just continues to kind of, take a step back. Maybe last year wasn't fluky. Maybe it wasn't that he was hurt in spring training. Maybe he's just getting older. So I'll take Ober. It's fine. Javi Baez. How's Javi Baez still on a roster, honestly? All right. More Cubs talk. Yeah. Shaw. Well, I just took a Cubby and Shota. I mean, you guys probably already know I did a whole video just on Matt Shaw. And I did just see Justin Turner. Y'all probably heard this. Justin Turner now got signed, but he's not playing third base. He can't play third base anymore, even if he tried. I don't think he's playing third base. He'll mix in a little at first. He'll DH. I think he's really more just a bench bat, and he'll play. He's not an everyday player. I mean, come on, he's 40, losing some bat speed. So I'm not worried about that. And then the oblique injury that Shaw had, apparently he's fine. He's going to be ready. So, I mean, that just makes him probably an even better discount. So. Woo, I love Woo. You know I love Woo. Where's Woo going in this draft? I know I can wait to get him. I can get him much later. Let's see. Brian Woo. There you go. 171. Yeah, we got a few rounds before we can get Brian Woo. Man, I mean, I don't think he'll make it to me, but if Grayson is still there, I've got to take him. Maybe Gausman too, honestly. All right, just okay. So why I say attack outfield early? Just so you know, like here's what's on the board, or you can see who's being taken, but you can't see the rankings here as far as who's available. The best pitchers available are Grayson Rodriguez, Kevin Gausman, Bryce Miller, pretty good. Best infielders, Royce Lewis, Vinny Pasquantino, and then you got Jackson Holiday, Mason Wynn. All right, some risk, but some upside. Best outfielder right now, top outfielder being drafted available, JJ Bleday of Oakland, Kerry Carpenter, okay, Lourdes Gurriel. I mean, there's a difference here, right? Okay, I'm not getting Grayson. I'm not getting Bryce. So I'm not taking an outfielder because none of those guys are better than the infielders left. This is a format I will absolutely take and target Royce Lewis. Let's do it. But actually, yeah, forget it. I'm just not even gonna mess with it. I'm just gonna take Royce Lewis. Because here's the thing, even if he doesn't play a third of the season, which seems pretty reasonable, right? Let's say he misses a chunk of games. But if he goes off and does, what he did for those couple of weeks last year and has a hot streak, that's helping me big time in this best ball format, Wow. Okay. I mean, Kevin Gausman is now 16 picks later than ADP. I'll take him here. Yeah, why not? Do I have a strategy? Good question. I do have a strategy. Now, I've done this many times. So part of it isn't just I'm taking not just best player that I think is available. I'm going to differentiate a little bit. So that's why I might not take a guy I do like better because I don't want the same player in every one of my drafts because I'm just limiting my own chances to win a tournament. Okay. But again, generally strategy for the dinger for any of these best ball contests here in Underdog is I'm attacking outfield early, as I keep saying. Elite outfielders in the first couple of rounds, I need at least one, if not two, in the first 3 rounds. I'm not taking a pitcher in the first 3 or 4 rounds. In terms of volume and roster construction, I mean, it kind of matters how the beginning of the draft goes, of course. I don't just blindly say I'm taking 6 infielders and 7 outfield. No, it depends. But in general, I will say I'm going to want to have a little bit more as far as pitching on my roster because it's just riskier at that position. And my flex spot, because you can get in your starting lineup, you have 3 infielders, 3 outfielders, 3 pitchers, and 1 flex. My flex can go to either offensive position, and those are a little bit more stable. So I'd rather have another extra pitcher to rotate from for my 3 pitcher spots to get more points as opposed to infield outfield. So generally speaking, my typical roster construction would be 7 pitchers, Yeah, 7 pitchers, usually 7 outfielders, and then 6 infielders, because the infielders also feel it's generally less risky than the outfielders. But I'm gonna mix it up. It depends how the draft works out. Yeah, Blade is okay. I don't know. Blades is one of these former Marlins prospects that, of course, got shipped off before they could develop him because they can't develop hitters. But um, yeah, he's okay. I mean, he doesn't seem like a guy who, despite being drafted for his amazing eye and hit tool, doesn't hit for average. So he's okay. Good question, Nick. Actually, I'm glad you asked this. Do you try to stack? So stacking is big, huge in football, right? Quarterback and receiver, sometimes quarterback, tight end, because if an offense goes off, if a team has a big week, you're getting that kind of bonus. But I don't try to stack. I'll say this: I don't. Um, I do usually wind up with at least a pair of teammates though on offense. And I think it's not really a conscious, it's not a forced thing, but if I'm in on an offense, I'll want multiple parts of it. So I wouldn't say I try to stack players or hitters necessarily, but I will target offenses. Maybe that makes more sense. So, for example, I have one team where I committed to taking Wyatt Langford as early as you have to take Wyatt Langford. And so then I did follow it up a little bit later at infield. I took boring Marcus Simeon because he's an accumulator, but that's also, these are guys who are, uh, it's going to kind of stack, right? One drives in the other. If Langford thrives, that helps Simeon and vice versa. More, I guess I see it more as a synergy thing. It's synergistic. So I will do that, or I will take multiple values from an offense that I feel is undervalued. Like I have one league where I totally did not intentionally try to do this, but I have 3 Giants hitters, and none of them was Willie Adamas. Um, but that's how I see it. Okay, I'm back on the clock, so I better stop talking. I got 4 of each. I can do anything here. Uh, I'll take a. Will I? You know what? Let's do exactly what I was saying. Okay. I want to talk about risk. Okay. So here's where, like, Parker Meadows is fine. Josh Lowe. Byron Buxton, of course, is a huge risk, but I already have Royce Lewis. Buxton's my 5th outfielder. So by the same logic, if he plays half the season, just as long as it's a really good half, he can help me in this format. So there we go. Risky outfielder, because they're all risky at this point. And then let's just go Mason Wynn. I think he's pretty decent value. I really am not drafting hardly any Cardinals on offense. I mean, that team is, I don't know, just gets worse every year, it seems like. Even with Arenado, Dalton is staying there as we think he will. I mean, I don't know. I was looking at the lineups, the projected lineups today. It's very uninspiring offense in St. Louis. Let's put it that way. I do like Contreras because, obviously he should actually get more at bats. So back to the volume thing, right? If he doesn't have to play catcher, he's not getting hurt. He's able to go out there most days. It won't be every day, but most days. Contreras qualifies at catcher but doesn't play catcher. That's always a good thing. But yeah, I'm not quite as excited about Wilson Contreras as some other people just because I look at that Cardinal offense, and it doesn't inspire me as much. So I like Contreras, but I'm starting to get the feeling that some people might overvalue him a little bit. So, and then no, there is no catcher. This is what's so great about this. You can do an entire draft and not have to take a catcher. Imagine that. Yeah, Mason Wynn is good. Mason Wynn is definitely good, and he's saying he wants to steal more bases this year. Maybe they'll let him run more. If he does, definitely will accumulate some points. So in this format, since you got a little bit of time before it gets back to me, just for those who are wondering, so we already talked about the rosters and all that, but the points. Okay, so this really, to me, it doesn't prioritize power. Um, you get 10 points for a home run, you get 6 points for a double, and 3 for a single. So think about that. Accumulators are going to really thrive here. The home run mashers, yeah, they'll get you a lot of points, but the guy who gets you a ton of singles and those guys who have doubles power, um, they don't jump off the page in fantasy because they're not getting as much home runs, but they're getting you doubles. They're worth a lot in this format. Walk is 3 points. RBIs and runs are only 2 points each. So you really have to approach it a little bit differently than typical. A stolen base is 4 points. So one steal is like a run and an RBI combined. So you want guys who can steal a fair amount, but I'm really prioritizing those guys who have at least good to great power, right? They don't have to have elite power. And so to me, that's why like Riley Green comes to mind. He's a guy who I don't know if will ever hit a huge home run total, but he's got doubles power for sure. Like I like Alec Boehm a lot in this format, if you know what I mean. Mason Wynn will get you a lot of singles, some doubles. He'll steal bases. The guys who just keep getting those hits, just getting on base. And that's why I think Dylan Cruz is really good in this format too, because as I talked about earlier, a lot of people don't think he has the juice to get to 20 home runs this year. That's fine. But if he gets me 30 something doubles, that's really good in this format. And actually, that brings me to a pick that I might take right now. Jonathan India is one of those guys. He gets you some homer, some steals, but he'll get you doubles. He has a very high walk rate. I think it was 12.8% last year. So I might just have to take India here, unless this guy does. All right, I'm going to take India. And as far as pitching goes, well, you might notice there's no closers being taken, so no no point taking the closer because you don't get any points for saves or holds. You do get 5 points for a win and 5 points for a quality start. So getting pitchers on good teams, and you get 3 points for inning pitch and 3 points for a strikeout. So you want aces, and you want guys who can eat up innings. So go back to Gaussman. He will get you a lot of innings. Yeah, the wins, okay, maybe not as much in Toronto, but he can get back to it these days. But he will throw quality starts for the most part. Bailey Ober isn't as exciting, but I know he will get me innings. He'll give me quality starts. So that's why I like him. So like Jesus Luzardo, that is way too risky for me in this format. Eflin, maybe. I like Christopher Sanchez, though. I think he's perfect for this format. I am almost balanced. I got 5.65. All right. So what I was saying earlier, I'm done. I think at infield, I got 6. So I'm gonna take just pitcher outfield with my next this is round 16, my next 4 picks, 2 of each. So let's filter pitcher outfielder. Okay. Xavier Edwards. Okay, so in your typical roto league, I mean, you know what he is going to do. I mean, hopefully not hit for average like last year. I don't see him hitting 330 something, but he will hit for average and he will steal a ton of bases. He'll score some runs, even the fact that he's hitting leadoff. Got to remember it's the Marlins, talking about bad lineups. So he'll score some runs, and then he'll get you 0 power. So he does have value in this format. I wouldn't say he's horrible in this format, because yeah, the home runs definitely outweigh the steals. but he'll get you, if he gets you a fair amount of singles, but he also is not going to get you extra base hits in general, like the doubles and the, it's just he's okay. He's more like a depth pick. He doesn't give you the advantage that he would in a roto league where he can help you win steals and he can help you big time in average. So, but that's the thing. He has no power, like no power. So the complete lack of home runs, I think, just makes him basically a late round pick. Yeah, where he's getting drafted, sure. I mean, as your last pick, fine. I will tell you, look, I just saw right here Jeremy Pena. Jeremy Pena is good in this format because he's an accumulator. He does not sit. And I talked about Jeremy Pena. I think that video just came out right yesterday. He's a guy that does have more power than he's shown. He's dropped off the last 2 years, but he's aware of it. He's doing the tweaking his swing thing and try to adjust the launch angle. I think he can do it. Like I really can see him getting back up to 20 home runs. So I think Pena is a very nice pick in this format. Same thing. I took Jonathan India. I think that's a good type of pick here. Alec Bohm, I love in this format. This Luis Arias, I mean, that this is the format where he's also still valuable, even though he has zero power, because he gets so many hits just for the sheer volume of singles. He will get points. Now, the ceiling is capped, but again, as you're like fourth, fifth, it's nice that I think he's the type of player that if you go a little bit more risky with your early picks, and sorry, let me just look. Like, let's say early on at infield, you take a guy that you're like, man, he's good, but Jazz Chisholm always gets hurt. Ozzy Albies always gets hurt. What if those guys tank? Or what if Junior Caminero doesn't pan out? You know what I mean? There's risk there. So if you take one of those guys with your early picks or Mark Vientos at infield, I can see backing him up later with a Luis Arias or Jeremy Pena type. So that would make more sense. Okay. Back to me. Only pitcher outfield. Let's see, there's all these Cardinals available because nobody wants them. God, these outfielders are just not good. I've been talking to Shane Baz, but I don't like him as much in this format because I don't know how many innings he'll go. I'll take Ronel Blanco because I do like him, and I feel like he'll get me a fair amount of everything. I do know which outfielder I want, but I'm going to wait one more. Hopefully this team doesn't take him. And by the way, I'm just going to say now, I'm committed. I finally have given up on Joe Adell. Even though I know he's planning to play, like he's going to split with Moniak for center field. I'm done. I'm out. Okay, I'm gonna take Garrett Mitchell. He's got a good amount of a pop. He can get you maybe 20 home runs this year. He's got doubles power. I think he can collect some hits. He'll get you some steals. So I like a guy like him better in this format. Better than like a Lars Nootbaar, who can get you home runs, but he's not going to do that much else. You know what I mean? Okay, so now I just need one more of each, and then that will be it for this. So yeah, here I'm gonna take some shots. Heston Kierstad is interesting. He might be somebody I take. I mean, I have taken John Quincy Noel, but he's kind of homer or bust. Not ideal here unless we really think he's having a 30 home run season. Even then. I did take Jordan Beck the other day as my last round pick, just taking a flyer on him. Yeah, it's thinning out. I do like Pavin Smith, but I have him a couple of times already. And yeah, it's just all risk from here on out. All right, we'll get something. Glad to hear about Odell. Yeah, look, sometimes you just have to let go. Just have to let go. Yeah, that's good point. DFS. That's another thing. Noel's not guaranteed to even have the job. Well, I think he's gonna split with maybe Will Brennan, and then DeLauder. Who knows if he stays healthy, he could come up at some point. There are a lot of iffy type of players for me right now in Cleveland. I'm not completely sold on that offense. Yeah, Profar is a great pick in this format. That's true. Did I miss him? Man, when did he even go? See, it must have been much earlier because I was looking at the outfielders. But yeah, Profar's perfect for a points league, and in this format, I think he's really good. Okay, yeah, he must have been drafted earlier before I was looking. Before JJ Bleday, please tell me. Yeah. Okay. Aaron Savale. Aaron Savale is interesting. No, I mean, I take that back. He's not really interesting. Aaron Savale, though, is weird because I was looking at the Stuff Plus metrics the other day, what Eno Saris does, and Aaron Savale somehow is up there. I think in like the top 15 or something, maybe top 12 and stuff. You would never guess, but he's like way below average in location plus. So that does make sense. Okay, I'm going to take Clay Holmes, see how many innings he can go this year. He says he's aiming for 160. He's adding like 3 new pitches. I think he's in a better venue with the Mets. I think that's a very nice late pick. Let's take a chance. And then for outfield, I mean, I don't know. I briefly entertained Jose Siri, but I don't know. I don't see him getting enough at bats. Let's see. Who do we finish this off with? Andy Pajas might be a good pick. Tommy Pham is going to be possibly leading off for the Pirates. Possibly. Um, why not? My first share. I can say I have some Tommy Pham. All right. Well, that does it. Houston, yeah, actually, who I took the other day. No, not in this. I didn't take him in Underdog. I took him in one of my NFBC 50s. Was Jacob Melton. Um, and there's different opinions on him. Some people think he could compete for a job, but I think MLB Pipeline, they have him projected for as like a 2026 debut, which seems a little pessimistic, but yeah, Melton is one could make an impact. Their outfield, yeah, but you know what's going to happen with Houston? Supposedly, it's already happening. Altuve is going to now play like left field. He's going to be in the outfield, and then they're going to have Dubon playing second base. And they just signed Brendan Rodgers. Not that that should matter, but they signed him to a minor league deal. So yeah, I think they're going to patch up their outfield with Altuve, partly because also he's losing his step, and on the field, his defensive metrics are down. So that's why. What Kumar Rocker? Yeah, I've got a lot of Kumar Rocker already. I've been talking. I know he's not even getting drafted here, which is surprising. But I just read this today with Kumar Rocker. Apparently, he's not guaranteed a rotation spot. He might start the season in AAA. Now, in best ball, maybe that doesn't matter because if he debuts in May, even June, he could still help you out. But he's definitely not a short thing. All right, that's it. Let's do a quick recap. You guys give me your thoughts on this team. I'm going to switch it over now back to instead of the draft board. Yeah, exactly. That's what I said about Cody Bradford. Wait till DeGrom goes down and John Gray and everybody who's always injured in that rotation. Yeah, I know. I know. Okay, so real quick, my team. I went as I said I would. 7-6-7, 7 pitchers, 6 infielders, 7 outfielders. So there have been times where I've gone 8 outfielders, but didn't feel the need because I had got the players I wanted early. So pitching staff, again, best ball format, no relievers. Just want guys who will accumulate points consistently. George Kirby is pretty much as consistent as you get. Imanaga, it's pretty consistent last year. Bailey Ober, Kevin Gausman, I just took the value. His ADP is a 119, and I got him at 134, so I couldn't pass it up. I was considering him anyways. Chris Sanchez, I really like this year's value pick. Ronald Blanco, I like too. And then my first Clay Holmes, just to see if that pans out. Infield, I got Alonso with 35, feels pretty good to get him there. Trey Turner at 38, feels even better. I'm just like not sure why Trey Turner is being drafted as late as he is. O'Neill Cruz, Royce Lewis, Mason Wynn, India. So really only one super risky player, and that's of course Royce Lewis. The risk being that he misses the season because he's always hurt. But man, I actually love the upside of that infield. And then outfield, Tatis. I don't love taking him in the first round, just to be honest. But I also got Schwarber. I just took the top 2 outfielders on the board at that time. And then got Bellinger, Cruz, Buxton, Mitchell, Pham. End of this outfield group is definitely sketchy to some extent. I love Gary Mitchell. He's a guy I'm taking a lot. But Buxton is just like close your eyes and roll the dice. Tommy Pham is whatever. I don't even know why I took Tommy Pham. And then Bellinger, we'll see. But I like Cruz, could be my third outfielder, and I'd be happy with that. So overall, pretty good. I think this is one of my more solid, if not exciting, teams. How many teams will I build? Well, I don't know, because I've already got, as you can see, 5 of these going on. I also have some eliminators, some other ones. I'm going to keep drafting, obviously for the next month plus. So I'll have at least 10. I'm going to try to get to 20, I think is my goal. I don't feel like I have to do a million because honestly, I'm doing so many other drafts as well. It's just what I have time for, but that's my goal. So I'm between 10 and 20. Let's see. We'll just see how it goes. Honestly, it's just. And then you know what, King Schuster. Let's throw your team up here because you're up here. That's Justin. Glad you're in the draft. All right, so you got Crochet Strider. Wow, Strider's your number 2 pitcher, followed by Rodon and Flaherty. Forget anything I said about risk. This man is living on the edge with that starting pitching staff. You might want to see if you can draft an extra trainer for your roster. No, look, you have a ton of talent, but yeah, let's hope they stay in one piece. But I do love Mackenzie Gore still, and Fott. I think that's a great value pick here. Crochet, I have no problem drafting him where he's been going. So, yeah, look, even if Strider misses however long of the season, like I said, you get him midway through the year. If he's close to what he has been, then that's a good pick. And I'm not off of Flaherty either. I took Flaherty the other day. Olsen, Walker, Tuve, Paredes, Young, Hoskins, Morel. All right, that's pretty good. And then Judge Ozuna Profar, that was a good pick. You did take him pretty early. Wow, pick 50. I mean, I don't think you needed to take him that early. I do see a lot of Braves, so you're kind of stacking this Braves offense again. Good offense to stack. You probably didn't even take him that soon, though. And O'Neill is a good pick. Soler and Kepler. All right, pretty good. Let's do Anthony. Anthony's always on here. Tommy Salami, Michael King, Luis Castillo, Schwellenbach, Steele, Wu, and then Lodolo and Shane Bieber. Now there's a dart throw. I mean, let's see. Last round pick, maybe he pays off. You know I love Wu. And King is good. Got Jazz, got Albies, but you backed him up with Simeon. That's what I'm talking about. So you have the high ceiling, and then you have that floor here to set it off. You know I'm a fan of Berger. Arnado, I mean, he can still do something for you. Soto, Merrill Wood, Young Lee, Jock Peterson, and Roman Anthony. All right. I mean, look, you don't really need James Wood to be great this year because, you know, you have, I think, he should have a decent floor with Lee. He's your third outfielder, so I think that's fine. Yeah, I like this team too. You took some smart swings. All right, guys. Well, thanks. Wow. You're at 143. Okay. Well, I'm not going to get there. I will tell you that. I am not going to get to 150 drafts. I just don't have time for that. But man, I'm going to do what I can. But I'll do another one here with you guys probably next week. So turn on those notifications. New video is scheduled for tomorrow. So check that one out too. And tell everyone. Check out Fantasy Endgame Baseball. Appreciate you guys. I'll see you on the next one.